Hello everyone, this is Mike from Mike's Steep Run Railroad. Uh, Received a request from Heath to show off the Purple Hat from IOTT, and what you're looking at here is a engine under test. I've got my car set up with my vertical mount Purple Hat. The gold package there is a 3.7 volt battery that is providing extra power to the M5, and there's a extra weight on the back. On the front axle, underneath the area right forward of the circle on the flat car, there are two magnets that are super glued to the axle. I'll show a picture of that later. So this is the train configuration. I want to go through the setup a little bit and show you the one thing I think is really neat about this. So hang on. On YouTube, there's a channel IOTT, Internet of Toy Trains. This gentleman's been building modules of all sorts based on the M5 module he has there, and he has things called hats that attach to it that have a lot of different capabilities and functions. The most important and the most interesting feature of the Purple Hat that led me to purchase it was the ability to set a profile, and this profile is mile per hour over speed step. So I'm profiling a switcher, and I want it to perform like it's fairly old, so I set the top speed to 50, and then I set long speed step, or a low slope speed step curve in the profile. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. And what that does is when you run the test, it collects the actual data, both forward and reverse, and then calculates the speed table settings and the forward trim and the backwards trim that you can save to a JMRI file. It's the same, and you save it to the same Decoder Pro roster file that you set up with the engine to begin with, and that puts all these new values into that JMRI decoder file. And then when you come over to program that file or program that engine, all the new values that the speed test calculated is automatically put into the speed table and generates the actual settings. The rest of the video is going to show some details of setting up the web page, running the tests. Oh, you can get extra credit if you can tell me who my network is named after. After you've set up your M5 module, it will and connect it to your network, it'll display a IP on the little screen. You take that value and type it into your browser, and what happens is the browser will go out to that address and pull up this web panel, and I believe it's based on the hat that you have installed. So this is where I am now. I'll show you briefly what it looks like. I haven't figured out how to capture my screen yet, I'm sorry. So I'll do a lot of voiceover. This is the node configuration setup. You give it its how do you want to connect your module, what command source you're going to use. We're going to use the Y throttle client out of JMRI. You identify which hat you have. He's got a blue, brown, yellow, green, red, and a black and a purple. We're going to use purple. Y throttle client page. Once you open Decoder Pro and start the JMRI Y throttle, you will get an IP of the server. And you type that in the port on this page, save and restart, and now the M5 knows what throttle client to connect to. Here on the Purple Hat tab, hopefully you can see I'm clicking on these tabs here in the screen, and down here is your setup. This is where you set your wheel diameter for your car, what scale you're running, and the orientation of the Purple Hat. You can get configurations that either be upright or horizontal. The one I'm using is upright. Hans goes over all the different configurations in his videos. Track data. This card is also capable of measuring the length of your track. So that's really cool if you're setting up sidings and you want to know exactly how long your track is. It'll do that for you. What I'm interested in here is the Speed Magic table. Here, it looks like something's changed here, so let me go ahead and set this up. So if you've okay, there we go. If you don't know how to use Decoder Pro, this is going to be kind of tough for you to set up. So you're going to need a knowledge base on Decoder Pro for the way I'm doing it here. So this is the Decoder Pro main page. The engine that we'll be doing is New York Central 9762. That I did all the usual steps with JMRI to get the program information off of the decoder and save that to my roster. So we're going to be programming on the main. So I click down here to program, and you get your programming screen. Opens with the roster, etc. Hans tells you to go into basic speed control, set the start, mid, and max voltages to 0, and to do not use the speed table. This is primarily for allowing the software to adjust the engine based on the physical constraints of the engine, not based on software enhancements or performance improvements. And there's the speed table. So once you do that and you save that all to your decoder, write changes on sheet if you had to change any of those, your decoder will now have the correct values to start the test. So, power it on and go back to the red hat or the purple hat screen. I hope this is so. Somehow I lost the profile, but I'll set it up again here. This engine will do a max scale speed of 60 miles an hour, but I'm going to lower mine to 50 because it's kind of old. And what that'll do is it'll change the scale on this profile tool. I want it to take a long time to get up to 30 miles per hour. So this is the mile per hour along this axis, and this is the speed steps along this axis. It tops out at 50 miles an hour, and I've got that set to 90 at speed step 90. So this is the profile that the Purple Hat is going to run as part of the test. This is where it records the speed profile, and I'm going to start the test and show you, hopefully, that everything's still connected, what happens. Okay, I heard the engine fire up. I've got the length of the test track set to 10 feet. It'll use that number, that amount, to notch up to get the different profiles of the actual engine. So it's measuring distance and against the programmed throttle step. And it should be stopping pretty soon, right about there. Okay. Now it's going to do it in reverse to get the same area of the ramp, only in the reverse direction. And there it's going to stop. So it'll continue to do this back and forth until it reaches the set maximum speed you have in your table. And you set that for each engine. Now I'm going to set all my switchers to a profile, same profile, once I get it set the way I like it. I'm getting close because now the throttle is a much finer command to the engine for speed. And that's because of the low slope on the profile screen. And that should be about it. Yep. So it's powering down. Sorry about the movement. But here you can see it has calculated all of the values, and I'm not sure which one is forward and which one's reversed. I think the straighter one is the reverse because I got a little coupler slack in my test car. So once you get this done, and gives you the forward trim and the reverse trim for what it determined. And this is a setting that goes on to your motor screen in Decoder Pro. So I'm going to save this JMRI file. Okay, I'm bringing you back now. What I did was I saved the engine Decoder Pro file to in a JMRI format. You do that right off the screen there. It's real easy. And then I went back to Decoder Pro, pulled in the new profile, and pulled it up onto the screen. Now, here is the new speed curve and speed table based on the profile we just ran with the Purple Hat. It's generated the forward and reverse trim and brought it in from the test results, and has set up the profile for the engine. It's all. So now what we need to do is write this sheet to the engine. So we turn on our power, just come down here, and we write full sheet, and you see it popping along there. Now the new speed profile that we just ran in our test and that we set up in our throttle step speed throttle step to scale speed chart. It ran the test and got the actual performance values, set up the speed table settings, determined forward trim and backward trim. I'm not sure what those are. Then saved it to the JMRI file. And when we loaded back up in Decoder Pro, like I showed you earlier, they're all set. So it did all those calculations just by running up and down the track a little bit. And the neat thing is you can just run this over and over again without doing anything in JMRI Decoder Pro until you get the performance that you're looking for. And then once you have it, you can save it, and you can also save the settings for your Purple Hat, the profile values,